This is on 1604 near Redland Road. These cars are entering the highway from this ramp here. The two cars continue in this lane until it becomes clear that this lane's now an exit-only lane. Both of them move over to get out of this lane, but then this driver immediately jerks the wheel back into the exit lane. It's unclear as to what exactly happened here. I don't know if the driver felt bored and closed their eyes for a moment just for the rush of what might happen, or maybe the driver was trying to read a funny bumper sticker on this car and was too close when they realized the car was braking. This is why it's best to be aware of what's going on the road up ahead and not just right in front of you. The driver should have been able to recognize that traffic was slowing down as all of these cars are braking. Another thing, you really want to be careful when reacting this way. I mean jerking your car clear into the next lane whether you just came out of it or not. This is dangerous. There are some people that truly drive like they're about to shit their pants, and I mean the runny kind, everywhere they go. Someone can quickly pull into this space after you get out of the lane, and a reaction like this can avoid one accident just to cause another. Oh, and by the way, nope, no bumper sticker. You don't have to drive around here for too long to realize that there are way too many drivers who have a problem when it comes to their phone. Some drivers actually have their phone in their hand at all times, just waiting to come up to a light so they can do whatever they need to do. And when I say need to do, I mean text, look at social media, read an article about 10 restaurants that you need to visit here in town by some guy who reacts with the same amazed face every time he takes a bite at every restaurant he goes to. The way I see it, if it's a real emergency, get off the road, tend to that emergency by phone, and then get on your way. If the emergency requires you to get somewhere as quickly as possible, well, here's a hint. Looking at your device is counterproductive to that goal. If it's not an emergency, put your damn phone down, act like a big boy or girl, and pay attention to the road. We've all got places to be, and not too many of us are fond of waiting out a portion of the green light because you're looking at your phone. I've had people, acquaintances, tell me that a few seconds like this example isn't a big deal. I have, in return, asked them to forego driving until they understand the big picture here. I ask anyone that sees it the same as those acquaintances to do the same. I have discussed on several occasions how some people dangerously stare at the ground in front of them while driving rather than look up to see what lies ahead. This is why they put a lot of the same information on the ground that they do on the signs above. But there are some drivers that not only don't look up at the signs on the road, they're also not looking at the ground, so they miss the information in the lanes as well. I don't know what it is they're looking at. Take the driver of this Chevy pickup. We enter the highway and get an immediate warning that the current lane we're in is now an exit-only lane for the next exit. But this driver doesn't quite catch that, stays in the lane. Then, once the driver realizes he's seconds away from driving his truck down the wrong exit, he throws on his blinker and gets into the next lane. The thing is, in the process of the desperate jump out of this lane, he misses the sign that tells him that this lane is now becoming an exit-only lane. Again, a matching announcement on the ground, another sign, one more lane marking. But again, not until he realizes he's about to drive his truck at 74 miles an hour down the wrong exit ramp, he throws on his blinker, and when he does, he realizes he's now 2 lanes over from where he needs to be, so he needs to illegally jump over the 2 lanes. If only there was some kind of advanced warning system to let him know what was coming up. Now, something you want to consider here. This was all wide open for him to jump over when he did so, as though he was playing a video game. But that isn't always the case. There could have been plenty of cars here, and on this stretch, it's not unusual for there to be a couple of 18-wheelers here as well. Just look ahead and plan ahead, so you don't have to make dangerous dummy moves like this. Please, for all of us. Here's another example. There's an exit up ahead that uses 2 lanes. If you're in this lane, you don't even need to get all the way over. You just need to get in this lane. How would one know that, you ask? Great question. You would know that by the biggest indicators they could possibly give you, especially since they do it with plenty of room for you to get where you need to be. But this guy here, he prefers to wait until he can see and recognize the exit itself and then jump over and take it, even if it means dangerously cutting across the path of another driver. Look, the idea is not like playing hockey or soccer where you can shoot from any angle as long as you get it in the goal. I was once told that sometimes when someone is randomly braking on the highway, it's because they're trying to read the signs. While I think this example here is a bit much when it comes to braking, I was a bit more accepting on this day because I figured maybe they're not familiar with this place at all, and they're probably reading the sign. Because there's really no other reason for this driver to be braking right now. I mean, they're slowing down as if they're parking spaces over here and they're trying to decide which one to pull into. No, they must be reading the sign, which, by the way, indicates that the lane to go north is on the left and to go south is on the right. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than that, right? That's like pre-K simple right there. A second sign indicating the same thing. The driver hits his brakes, again, to confirm the information has not changed since the last sign. Just wants to be sure. And then, they weren't reading at all, because once they get to this point, they make a last-second jump. It surprised them at this point in this ass drag up the interchange ramp that they were not in the lane they needed to be to go north. What the hell were they doing? As I'm preparing to make a left turn onto the access road, the lane suddenly slows down. Way down. Some of the drivers continue straight, but I soon realize the reason for the slowdown also turned left. Lucky me. I move over to get around, and because I see that this person is making the same effort, I allow them to do the same. Once in the left lane, I can see that the cause of the big slowdown is this minivan moving extra slow over here. Now, I think to myself, this can only be someone looking at the phone, right? But I stand corrected. She's actually trying to read a paper. Old school distracted. It might be a set of stapled pages. A page may or may not have been folded back already. And goodness, this thing has an image on it as well. Can someone please come and get this lady and maybe throw her keys into a field? Alright, let's see what we have here. What? No, this is not how this works. Nope. Gotta do better. Here we are driving through a parking lot, making our way out to the street. Now, unless something's changed, a parking lot is a piece of property that has spaces designated to roll your vehicle into and allow it to sit for as long as you need, within reason, of course, or within the rules of the owner of said property. If that's not what a parking lot is anymore, please, somebody let me know in the comments. Now, in order to be able to access these parking spaces, there of course has to be an area designated for cars to move about. A driveway, if you will. So, there are the parking spaces, and then there are the driveways. It's a pretty simple concept, but if I'm making a video about it, well anyway, look at this Mustang. We're both on our way toward the street. We're almost there when she randomly stops her car and puts it in park. Yes, that's right, I said she stops her car and puts it in park, right here. She even kind of centered out before she did this. What the hell? This is a parking lot. If you need to park to do something, you should be using one of the many parking spaces. This is not one of them. Why on earth would you, while in the driveway with cars behind you, think it would be any kind of okay to park your car right here? Then, when she realizes she's blocking us from getting by, she tries to wave me around. No. Get your ass out of the way so we can use this space the way it was intended. She finally wises up and gets out of the way. But as we make our way out into the street, you can see she's pulled up to where there are these empty spaces that I keep referring to, and yet she still chooses to park in the driveway. It's stupid, but that's actually what it's like, driving an SATX.